Last year, schools were struggling to take this information and communicate this to each other, to their boards of education, to their communities. This year, 2 pages have been added to the detailed reports that are available to help you understand your school's grade. The first 2 pages give visual information to explain how each component contributed to the school rating. It's color-coded and it's designed to be shared. There are no cells that are less than 10 students. So the page 1 and page 2 of your school detail report for the school grade, those are intended to be shared with the public, to be printed and shared. Let's take a look at the information that's on there. One section of the report, the large middle section of the first page, has the question, how did we get this grade? This gives the visual explanation of how each of the components contributed to the overall school rating. So in this case, this particular school had a weighted performance of 69.93, very close to 70. It would round to 70. Their school value-added gross score was a 78.95, very close to expected growth, but a little bit lower than expected growth. And then the graduation rate was 92.54. And so you can tell by the color coding that the green is when a particular score contributed an A or B value. Yellow is when that particular component contributed a C value to the overall rating. Orange when it contributed a D value, and red when it contributed a red value, less than a D value. Then another section of the report gives you more visual information. The next section is measures affecting the school grade, and you'll notice on the left is an up arrow, meaning these things boosted your grade, and on the right is a down arrow, meaning these are the things that lowered the school's grade. And you can see on the left-hand side, this school was boosted by an achievement gap adjustment. They had a small gap between students who are receiving extra services, students who have certain factors that create more of a challenge in their education. Their graduation rate boosted the score, and their graduation gap also was really small, so they got an extra 3 points for that. On the right-hand side, you can see the things that brought the score down. The weighted performance score lowered the school score, and they had lower than expected average growth, which brought their score down a little bit. The very bottom tells you a little bit about how this school did relative to the other schools in the state. And this school's grade was actually better than 77.6% of schools in the state. It also tells you that last year the school earned a B. Page 2 provides the key to the color coding and explanations for growth and challenge. So these are just extra points to help understand the report. Then you get to pages 3 and 4. Now pages 3 and 4 are exactly what you got last year, but updated for the new or adjusted components for 2015. These provide the details that you need in order to understand the calculations. Page 3 and 4 may include cell sizes that are less than 10, and so it's considered a confidential report, these last 2 pages. These 2 pages are for educators to use in accordance with FERPA, that's federal law on the privacy of students, and are not intended for public distribution. We had to put them all together in a single PDF in order for them to be accessed online through the ADE Data Center. But the first 2 pages are for public consumption, the last 2 pages are for private consumption. So we do recommend that you split those out. The 4 major components are detailed on page 3, and these are the exact numbers that are part of your weighted performance calculation, your school growth calculation, your graduation rate calculation, and your gap adjustments. And then it also includes the challenge points that were earned, as well as plugging all of those in to the overall school score formula, and then it tells you with your overall points you can quickly reference the grade range and where you fell in the grade range. Page 4 has some really important and helpful information about challenge points. The challenge point charts are similar to what I showed you earlier in this video, and the challenge point charts again have the percent of poverty on the x-axis, so from 0 on the left to 100 on the right, with 50% poverty in the middle. And then on the y-axis, it's the percent meeting or exceeding the ELA grade level standard. Your school is identified by a green or red square or diamond. Green indicates that it's above expected performance given the level of challenge in your school, and red indicates that it's at or below expected performance given the level of challenge in your school. The solid line indicates expected performance given the poverty level of your school. So what were you expected to do? What in general would a school with your poverty level be expected to have achieved in 2015? And then the blue line separates the top quartile from the middle quartile. So let's take a look at this where the prior example is a school that was just at or just below expected performance. The school in this example did not earn any challenge points for this subject, ELA. However, for math, this school landed in the top quartile. So this school earned 3 points for math based on outperforming expectations given the level of challenge or economic disadvantage in that school. What's helpful about these charts is that whether you fall above or below the line, you get a sense that given poverty, people are performing at all levels of expectation. So if you're below that line, you can rest assured that there are schools that you can learn from that are outperforming expectations, that have the same poverty level that you have in your particular school. So that is the 4 pages of the detailed report. I can't stress enough, pages 1 and 2, okay to share publicly. Pages 3 and 4, unless you check that report and redact points that are less than 10, that is considered a private report and should not be shared without redacting or blacking out the private elements. That concludes this informative session about the A through F school rating system. If you need further information about your school's grade, any particular questions, then you can contact the Public School Accountability Division at the Arkansas Department of Education. And that concludes the A through F school rating system information video.